Salutations, everybody. It is Matty here today, and we're back, baby. Oh my gosh, is Xbox back? We got some good news after weeks of doom and gloom. We got something positive, truly, to talk about today because Xbox got a much needed W with the news that dropped yesterday. I do apologize for being a day late to this. Y'all know me. I'm usually right on top of this stuff. Yesterday was my fiance's birthday, so I was out hiking. The champ that she is offered to actually record an impromptu update video on the deal. She's like, we can do this, right? I was like, nah. I was like, look, let me just touch grass for once in my life, okay? So let's keep hiking. So I apologize for the wait, ladies and gentlemen. But here we are today talking about the EU approving the Activision Blizzard deal. This is significant because last we heard the CMA had blocked the deal. Before that, in December, the FTC had moved to block the deal. Things were looking pretty grim, and this definitely is that one leg to stand on type of moment for Xbox. Does it mean it's all going through, everything's going to be okay and great? Not necessarily. As I always say, we see the ups and downs of this story. Nothing's ever for sure, but this is definitely a major win for Xbox in a place they definitely needed it. We'll dive deep into what happened, why the EU approved it, the CMA's response, and I'm glad we're a little late to this story because we even have some interesting comments from Microsoft CEO Satya Nadella that paint a very interesting picture of what could happen, and it's something that myself and Lord Cognito proposed on Defining Duke, and oh, did the comments eat us alive for it, but seeing that it looks like it may be under consideration, there may be a lot of I told you so, hashtag Matty was right energy. We'll see about all of that. But ladies and gentlemen, as always, if you're new here, you're into Xbox news, information, coverage, we're ramping up with that showcase on the horizon, so please consider subscribing. Let's begin with taking a look at what the EU Commission had wrote on their post about approving the Activision Blizzard deal. So here's what they say. The proposed remedies to address the competition concerns identified by the Commission in the market for the distribution of PC and console games via cloud game streaming services. Microsoft offered the following comprehensive licensing commitments with a 10-year duration. A free license to consumers in the EEA that would allow them to stream via any cloud game streaming services of their choice all current and future Activision Blizzard PC and console games for which they have a license, and a corresponding free license to cloud game streaming service providers to allow EEA-based gamers to stream any Activision Blizzard's PC and console games. Today, Activision Blizzard does not license its games to cloud game streaming services, nor does it stream the games itself. These licenses will ensure that gamers that have purchased one or more Activision games on a PC or console store or have subscribed to a multi-game subscription service, Game Pass, that includes Activision games, have the right to stream those games with any cloud game streaming service of their choice and play them on any device using any operating system. The remedies also ensure that Activision's games available for streaming will have the same quality and content as games available for traditional download. These commitments fully address the competition concerns identified by the Commission and represent a significant improvement for cloud game streaming compared to the current situation. They will empower millions of EEA consumers to stream Activision's games using any cloud gaming services operating in the EEA, provided they are purchased in an online store or included in an active multi-game subscription in the EEA. In addition, the availability of Activision's popular games for streaming via all cloud game streaming services will boost the development of this dynamic technology in the EEA. Ultimately, the commitments will unlock significant benefits for competition and consumers by bringing Activision's games to new platforms, including smaller EU players, into more devices than before. Taking into consideration the feedback of the market, the Commission concluded that the proposed acquisition as modified by the commitments would no longer raise competition concerns and would ultimately unlock significant benefits to competition and consumers. The Commission's decision is conditional upon full compliance with the commitments. Under supervision of the Commission, an independent trustee will be in charge of monitoring their implementation. Effectively saying, Xbox, you best play by the rules or else we're going the other way. This is interesting to see because the CMA just blocked the deal because of cloud gaming concerns, as we covered a couple of videos ago. Now we see the Commission saying, actually, Xbox's remedies here are great and that we're going to move forward with this because we do think it's better for competition, and also the fact that consumers get a really good deal here and more accessibility to their games anywhere, which seems to be Xbox's mantra anyway. So it fits what they want to do anyway, which is being available on any screen, going beyond. So to me, it looks like they're game for all of this. The question really is, how does the CMA feel about all of this, right? Because we're coming hot off of their blocking of it, and they had some comments, and boy, do they look pissed off, which is unsurprising because I do understand some of their concerns. I've said it before, I get where they're coming from, and I've said for a while here on this channel and on Defining Duke that the cloud was the big concern. This is where Xbox sort of planted their flag as PlayStation ate up the exclusive game in the traditional gaming market. This is where Xbox evolved into Game Pass and xCloud, which is now known as Xbox Cloud Gaming, and this is where they've moved the industry forward. So it was born out of competition. I found it weird to see that, you know, the authorities were attempting to stagnate that, but they did plant a flag there and moved ahead of everyone dramatically. So they definitely have, in my opinion at least, the best cloud gaming experience I've had across multiple platforms. And so to see the CMA obstruct that, I understand because Microsoft was already ahead. They have Azure Tech. But at the same time, there were lines within that seemed a little more political. And the reality is, if the CMA can withstand the politics of all this, they can do whatever they want. They don't necessarily have to look at the EU approving this and go, well, now we got to approve it. That's not how this works, unfortunately, for those who are really crossing their fingers. But this does add pressure to them, pressure to the FTC. And also, it means that Xbox has one less country to go fight a legal battle in, pretty much. They don't have to go to court with the EU, UK, and then the USA. And there's no denying this. If the EU had moved to block this, I do have this feeling that Microsoft would have went and tried to fight back. But it would have felt like this was the last nail in the coffin. So again, it is that one leg to stand on. But what did the CMA have to say about it? Again, they seem pretty pissed. So let's read that and discuss a bit more. The UK, US, and European competition authorities are unanimous that this merger would harm competition in cloud gaming. Hence why the EU is allowing it now, because Xbox is making the proper changes in their eyes to how the cloud gaming market will be. But the CMA is saying, well, originally there was this fear of cloud gaming going awry, and therefore we're all in unison on that. The CMA concluded that cloud gaming needs to continue as a free competitive market to drive innovation and choice in this rapidly evolving sector. Microsoft's proposals accepted by the European Commission today would allow Microsoft to set the terms and conditions for this market for the next 10 years. They would replace a free, open, and competitive market with one subject to ongoing regulation of the games Microsoft sells, the platforms to which it sells them, and the conditions of the sale. This is one of the reasons the CMA's independent panel group rejected Microsoft's proposals and prevented this deal. While we recognize and respect the European Commission is entitled to take a different view, the CMA stands by its decision. So they're planting their flag and saying, look, they can do what they want, but none of that is changing for us. Now, here's where it gets really interesting, because on Defining Duke, myself and Lord Cognito proposed this idea that seemed like a very strong likelihood of, could Xbox just go fight a legal battle in the United States, hopefully win in court against the FTC, get the deal approved by that, and then you have it approved in the EU and the United States, and effectively isolate the UK as rogue, and through that sell the products, the services, the offer available in the US. It's available in the EU, but not in the UK. And whoa, did people eat us alive for that. You don't get it. That's ridiculous. There's no way it's gonna happen. Y'all are coping. And I'm just like, look, again, I've gone on record multiple times. I don't care if it goes through or not. I think Xbox, especially after Redfall, needs to shore up the defenses internally more than ever. So that's, again, me planting my flag where I'm at. People can pretend I've said other things, but that's not true. So when I look at what Satya Nadella seemed to kind of hint at, oh, that I find it interesting, and could it be potential vindication for the Dukes? We shall see. But ladies and gentlemen, let's take a look at a clip of Satya Nadella answering a very particular question that sounds a lot like what we proposed here on this channel and on Defining Duke.
Could you ever see an age where you would sell the product in the US if it was approved, sell the products in Europe, and not sell it in the UK if they didn't approve it?
Let's wait for it all to play out.
Did he say, yeah, it's going to happen? Like, yeah, we're going to do that. But not saying no, to me, that non-answer oftentimes can be an answer in itself, right? Let's see how it all plays out. Of course, there's a huge battle to be fought with the FTC regardless of all of this. That is kind of the main barrier right now for Xbox. But I've said, and I will stand by it, even if I think a lot of people find it foolish, that if Xbox can blitz through 2 regions and again, isolate the UK as this kind of rogue element and have now people putting pressure on the politics of it all, I feel like they will do it, because then eventually you would hope the EU will bend. But if Xbox can strengthen their first party offering and Game Pass, they can do so in 2 of their bigger markets. And to all my UK friends out there, I apologize. I'm not advocating for this, but I'm just saying, I think if they could pull that off, they will. That's just my 2 cents on it. Am I an expert on this stuff? Absolutely not. But based off what I've learned and what I'm seeing here, and now Satya Nadella kind of playing around with the idea, it feels like, when it's proposed, like, we'll see what happens. I feel like if they're left with that strategy, they're going to go for it, because Xbox was indicating that no matter what, we're going to fight it. So I feel like, again, as I said earlier, even if the EU blocked it, Xbox is like, all right, time to get to work. Like, let's do this. Because there's no denying the first party needs help. There's no denying it. I mean, we're going to start to see quarterly releases now. Hi-Fi Rush, Redfall, Minecraft Legends as well. We're going to see in Q3 Starfield. And then, again, my Q4 prediction has and always will be Hellblade 2. And who knows what Q1 2024 is. Maybe Avowed. That would be certainly a really great surprise. But we're definitely seeing that first-party shotgun blast come into effect. But then when you got to reload the shotgun, who's up next? Is it going to be partnerships through Xbox Game Studios? That's where it's going to be interesting to see. And I think once all of those have been fired off, they're going to be out, and they need more first party to rejuvenate that. And that's where Activision's going to help them out in hitting their quarterly goals. And again, I feel pretty strong on the idea that if they can push it through and start to get their plan into motion, it could put enough pressure on the UK to kind of loosen up eventually. We'll see, though. We'll see. That's kind of like a hope and a prayer for a lot of Xbox fans. But certainly today, the official fact is they get a much-needed win with the EU. And now it's one step forward for them in this Activision deal after what felt like a million steps back, and it was looking pretty grim. So with that, ladies and gentlemen, I look forward to seeing your thoughts on the topic down below. Be sure to fire away. Other than that, be sure to follow me on Twitter, follow me on Instagram. Those links are in the description down below. And a big thank you to all the patrons, all the members who continue to support the heck out of the content here. Stay sexy, stay active. I love you all. Peace.